What is good with y'all, man? So today we are going to be going over what are the best coaching adjustments to use for Madden 22. Now we're going to start it off over on defense just because there's a lot more to do on defense. I'm just in the challenge right now, so the clock doesn't run down on me because for some reason in practice mode you can't do your coaching adjustments still to this day. Doesn't make sense, but let's go ahead and get right into this. Like I said, we're on defense first, so because there's a lot more because we got to go over zone drops and everything. So let's get right into this. First up, we have auto flip defensive call. I usually keep this on. The reason is because and it really depends on the defense you run. Most of you guys probably just want to keep this on because really I feel like the only defense where you need to be flipping it is if you run like an odd kind of defense. Any defense that has odd in it, those are kind of usually ones where you want to flip them around and stuff. So if you don't run anything like that, let's just leave this on because usually only like I don't want to say 3-4 odd. There's the 2-4-5 odd or something like that, and then there's the 3-4 odd formations like that. You'd probably want to turn it off because you usually want to flip that around to the offense's weak side of the line. But in this case scenario, we're going to leave this on. Auto alignment, we are going to leave this on default. If you turn this on base, basically what it will do, so basically what auto alignment does is it has all your guys line up in front of the offense. Everybody's kind of in front of somebody. If you leave it on base, basically nobody will be aligned properly. And if you ever seen it where the defense is just kind of in their base defense and no one's kind of lined up on each other and it just looks weird, that's what base does. And man, man is literally what it says it does. Defenders will align according to their man coverage assignments. So it's best to just leave this on default, trust me. Ball in air, this really doesn't matter. I'm going to be honest with you. If you put it on play ball, it does not make a difference. I've done it for the last 3 Maddens. It does nothing. Play receiver, like I said, it doesn't make a difference. Swap ball, I mean, I don't think you would want to turn that on because that means they're going to swat the ball, and I don't think you want to do that. So it's best to leave this on balance. Cornerback matchup, if you put it on by overall, it will put your highest overall corner on their highest overall receiver, and I would recommend that you do not touch any cornerback matchups. Leave this on balance because the reasoning is if you're in zone and they start motioning people around, if you put it on anything like by overall, by speed, by height, by route running, by depth chart, any of that stuff, if they start motioning people around like while you're in zones, it's gonna fuck your zones up because it's gonna start moving your DBs around and it's gonna fuck your zones all up, and it's really bad. So do not touch cornerback matchups. Leave this on balance. Option on defense, there's 2 options. You have conservative, which is basically if you have it on conservative, if the quarterback tries to do a read option, your edge guy will stand right there and he will just blow the play up. If you put it on aggressive, that edge guy, instead of waiting there for that read option, he'll just come right along and try to blow the play up. Usually what I do is I'll start the game on aggressive, right? Especially if you have a pocket quarterback, leave it on aggressive. But if they're doing like read options and stuff and designed quarterback runs, leave it on conservative. But if he's not doing any of that kind of stuff, have it on aggressive because it'll just help you stop the run overall better. Strip ball, I leave this on balanced. If you have it on conservative, they're just never going to try to strip the ball. If you have it on aggressive, they will always try to strip the ball, and what will happen is a lot more broken tackles are going to happen because most of the time you're not going to get the strip ball animation. So I'll just leave it on balance because you want your guys to make tackles. You put it on aggressive, you guys are going to be missing a lot of tackles. Tackling, you have conservative, where basically they will never go for a hit stick. They will always go for a conservative tackle. If you have it on aggressive, they will most of the time try to do a hit stick, which can also once again lead to more broken tackles. Because let's say you got a guy like Deion Sanders or Jordan Poyer trying to go ahead and hit stick a guy, well, they're not going to get that hit stick off, especially if it's fucking Derrick Henry. So once again, I leave this on balance. The only time I say that it's a good time to ever put tackling and strip ball and aggressive, the only time I say it's a good time is if it's like you got to get a turnover really badly, you need a fumble, you need some kind of turnover late in the game, and you got to get the ball back for like 30-40 seconds, something like that. Besides that though, I just don't feel like that should really ever be on. Now the zone drops, you got cloud flats, curl flats, and hooks. You guys are probably thinking, let's explain these first. So first up, the first one, flats. These are cloud flats. In past Maddens, those were the blue circles that the corners were on, or anybody could really be on it. But now I think the picture of it's still blue. It's like that light blue. That's what the flats are. Those are called cloud flats. Curl flats, those are the purple ones where they usually go to the sideline. Those are the curl flats. And hooks, those are the yellow ones, usually what linebackers are on and stuff like that. All right, so now that you know what all these are, I'm going to break it down. Personally, because now, like, there's no, if you're thinking there's like just some set of zone drops that's just going to bag a guy for an entire game, no, that is not how it works. You always have to be adjusting these throughout the game. Or maybe you're a guy that doesn't even like to use zone drops, that's you. But cloud flats, for me personally, the only time I really adjust the cloud flats is when you get into the red zone. Once you get into about the 20 or the 15, that's when I start adjusting them. Let's say you're at like the 20-yard line, then maybe I'll put these things on by 10. Let's say you get to the 15-yard line. All right, well then I might probably keep them on 10. I'll probably keep them on 10. Then let's say you get to the 10-yard line. All right, now I'm gonna put my cloud flats on 5. And then let's say you get to that 5-yard line. I'm probably gonna have these on 0, so they really play. Actually, no, I would leave them on 5. The only time I put them on 0 is once you kind of get into that 2-yard line, 3-yard line. Then that's kind of when I put these things on 0, so they kind of play pretty much like a hard flat. But that's the only time I adjust my cloud flats is when you get into the red zone. Besides that, I don't touch them. Curl flats, I usually always start the game. I put these on 20, just because I know at least the Madden 21 at 20 yards, they would play a lot of stuff. Now, the zones in this game are really bad, so I've had to adjust these a lot. So usually, you know, if I feel like you're going underneath these a little bit and you're doing a little bit of dinking and dunking, I might lower these to 15. There was one game I actually had to lower these to 10, and usually I don't, because usually I feel like 20 and Madden 21, they played everything. Like, it was just pretty universal, like they did. But so far in this game, I've been adjusting it from 10 to 15 to 20. It all really depends what your opponent's running. Like I said, there is no just set of zone drops that's going to bag a guy for an entire game. That's not how it works. And if that's what you were thinking coming here, that's not going to happen, because everybody plays different. You have to adjust these to how your opponent is playing. Nobody plays the same. Well, at least on this game, nobody plays the same, because it is a crazy game. So the hooks, I'll be honest, the hooks, I don't think I ever really touched these. I just don't really see a reason to touch these. Maybe I would say one reason you could is if you get into the your opponent's in the red zone, maybe you could put these on 0s, you know what I mean? But besides that, I don't really touch the hooks. Like, I really only touch the cloud flats when they're in the red zone, and the curl flats I'll touch throughout the game. But usually I leave those on 20. But those are pretty much the best coaching adjustments, I would say, on defense. So let's go on ahead and head over to offense. All right, so we are now on the offensive coaching adjustments. As you can see, there's not much. There's only 4. So let's just go ahead and get right into these. First up, if you guys remember last year, deep catching and intermediate pass catching last year, what you wanted to do last year was put it on conservative, because if you guys remember, there was a lot of times where you would throw it to a guy wide open and he just kind of, either the quarterback misses it, the receiver just doesn't get there, somehow wide open guy, the ball doesn't get there, and you would put it on conservative because for some reason it would just cut down on, you know, quarterback missing wide open people. This year, from my knowledge, I mean, I haven't missed a guy wide open yet. And I have Justin Fields, and my quarterback has some pretty good receivers, but I just have not missed a guy wide open. So for now, I would just leave those on balanced. Blocking, leave it on balanced. Don't put it on conservative, because what conservative does is you would get shedded more. Like, I don't know why you'd want to get shedded more. If you put it on aggressive, there's a chance you could get holding penalties, and trust me, you do not want to do that, because that's 10-yard loss, and you could lose the game because of that. Ball carrier, don't ever put it on aggressive. If you put it on aggressive, it's gonna lead to you getting more fumbles. Like, it's basically, it's balanced but with more fumbles. Like, I don't know why you'd want to do that. Conservative, basically, here's the thing with conservative, it's supposed to make sure you won't be able to do any ball carrier moves with your right stick. And it's, you know, supposed to lead to you having way better you know, ball carrying, less fumbles. But I've turned it on a couple. Well, I always turn it on in the fourth quarter when, like, the game's really tight and you're kind of, you know, running the clock out just to make sure I don't fumble, because that's what you'd always do with it. But I did it one time, the first time I did it this year, and I actually fumbled the first play with it with Derrick Henry, and I actually lost because of that. But anytime you get into the fourth quarter, you have like a last drive, you're just trying to keep the clock running and get out of there, always put it on conservative, because it's supposed to improve your ball carrying. And honestly, you can keep it on the whole game if you want to from the beginning of the game. If you're a guy that doesn't use your right stick at all and you only use your left stick, I mean, you might as well then, because I mean, it'll help your ball carrying. And yeah, so that is pretty much it though. Those are all the coaching adjustments in the game. You guys let me know down in the comments. If you got any questions, I stream over on Twitch. The link to that will be in the description. It's that bull Chris. You go ahead and drop me a follow over there. I stream every night, so if you want to ask me some questions while I'm live in the comment section here on YouTube, go ahead and do that. But that is pretty much gonna do it though, boys. Like, comment, subscribe, and your boy is out.